Alright guys, how we doing today? Welcome back to Dagwoodz's Tonsorium. I'm Dagwoodz with the Shaving Cadre. Today we're going to be going over and comparing the lathers from the three different soap bases, the most recent soap bases from Barrister Mann. I don't have any of the old white label or the black label, so I can't compare those to what Barrister Mann has been producing lately. Today we're going to be using for the shave is B&M Vespers. This is in their Excelsior base, so this is their newest base. It's supposed to combine the best properties from both the Reserve and the Glissant line. So from the Reserve and Glissant lines, from the Glissant line we used Adagio, and for the Reserve we used Waves. There we go. So this is just a lathering, just to show you guys the difference in the lathering, how quick they lather, how quick they load. And then I did shave with each one. I have already done one shave with the Excelsior. I chose it today because we are going with a freshly honed razor, my Jerry Stark. This is a 7/8 razor with a little bit of a smile and a French point. Muted, so it had a couple of I had to go through and do a little profiling of the bevel. There were some imperfections in it caused by yours truly, so I went through and fixed those. I'm going to use it for the shave. So the way we're going to do this is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start shaving, and while I'm doing that I'm going to start talking about what I experienced with each one, and as I do, you're going to see the lathering pop up there as I go through the shave. So, let's start the shave out first, though. I hope everybody's week has gone well. It's Saturday. You made it through. Congratulations. So for the shave today, we're using the Shavemac 2-band Silvertip. This is 26 millimeter in a fan shape. We did already build our lather. What we used for the three shaves, we used the same equipment for the three shaves. We used a synthetic. This is the Wild West Brushworks with a 24 millimeter boss knot. And for the razor, we used our .68 Game Changer by Razor Rock with a Supermax stainless. Used the same blade, so I already had when I started it had one shave on it, so I had shaves 2, 3, and 4 on it. Still can take more water. One of the things that I realized is these Barrister Mann soaps have an extremely wide water band. This is across the board. Now, that being said, when I say wide water band, I'm talking about something very specific, which is how much water can they take and still be usable. So that means the low end, where they're on the drier side, but still a very shaveable lather, all the way up to the more wet side without breaking. Now, all three of them have a fairly wide water tolerance. Now, where the three of them vastly differ in this is how much water does it take to get to a more ideal lather. And that's one of the things we're gonna go over. And what I found is that, so I palm lathered for all of these, and we're about there with this right here. What I found is, even though I had a great consistency, what looked like a great consistency on my palm, when I put it on my face and applied, it was still a little bit dry. And that's across the board for all three. And that is, I think, more down to, excuse me, got some on my hands, more down to me not palm lathering all that often. and also trying to minimize the amount of flying lather because I ultimately have to clean it up. This is so. All right, so I'm going to start shaving, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about the glissant first. So glissant is a, I would say, mid-firm soap. Still relative. I wouldn't put it in the firm category as far as it's. Excuse me. As far as how firm it is, you know how it's not in the firm category. But it's definitely not in the softer side of the house. Tell you what, let's switch it up. We'll put it right there. Load time was about 15 seconds, as you saw. And I'm not using my spray bottle. I'm using just the dip method, just dipping the tips in my bowl. I'm doing my best to try and keep the amount of water that I take with each dip as consistent as possible. The glissant said about 15-second load and had more than enough for a 3-pass shave. So it loads really easy. Relatively easy, I should say. Not quite as easily as the other two. And the sheen on my hand, at least, took a little while to develop. And then when I got it on my face, it still continued. I needed to add quite a bit of water. So the water band on the Adagio, again, is wide, as it is with the other two. And what I found was throughout the 3 passes, I was continuing to add water. And I was not experiencing a lot of slickness. Slickness was lacking the first 2 passes. And it wasn't until I actually tried drowning the soap that I got the slickness that I was looking for out of it. So you can get the slickness. I would put it at very good, not excellent or elite. The cushion was very good, but it's got a very high level to get the slickness, the maximum slickness out of the glissant. You really do need to almost drown it with water. I would do it slowly though. Don't try and add all the water at once. So let's do this real quick. There we go. So the next one is the reserve line. This is reserve waves. And this is one of the fastest loading soaps I've ever used. 15 seconds is almost overkill. It is a softer soap, not quite to a crope consistency, which does lend to it loading pretty fast. Go. Again, took quite a bit of water to get the sheen where I wanted it. And once I got the sheen on my hand, there was still quite a little bit of ways to go once I started shaving. However, it was not very hard, and it didn't take quite as much water as the glissant to get the slickness to the point where I was comfortable. And once I did, it was definitely an elite level slickness. As a matter of fact, it is one of the slickest in the den. I would venture to say it would score a 10 if I were scoring it. Cushion is where the reserve line, cushion and protection is where, for me, the reserve line really fell short. Moisturizing was good, post shave was good. Cut myself right there, a little weeper. When I say good, let me clarify. The post shave on it is excellent. Not elite level for me. There we go. And all in all, you can see the sheen on it is much better than the glissant. So last but not least, we have the newest addition to the Barrister Mann line of soap bases, and that is the Excelsior, which is what I'm using today. Again, this is kind of the Goldilocks in between the glissant and the reserve line as far as firmness, and hence the loading is right in between too. So it doesn't load quite as easily as the reserve, but it doesn't take as long as the glissant. Not that the glissant takes too long to load. We're actually going to add some more water to this last pass. There we go. Did take the water band on it. For useful lather is the widest out of the 3 soaps, so you can start shaving with this with less water than the other 2. The glissant is the one that takes the most water to get there. However, to reach peak consistency and sheen, this really does require quite a bit of water. I know some people prefer drier lather. I'm one of those people that really enjoys a wet lather. I'm what Paul H. would describe as a wet head. There we go. Very nice. Cushion on this soap, it's actually better than both the other soaps. So whereas the glissant was excellent cushion, Just sort of elite. I will put this slightly above that, although I might have a hard time saying it's elite level cushion. It is definitely better than the Glissant, I would say, by at least a point. So you're talking 8.5 to 9.5 would be the difference. The slickness on this for me is not quite as good as the Reserve line. Whereas the Reserve line, I would definitely give that a 10. This I would give it a 9.5. Where this really does outpace both soaps is in the post shave for me. The post shave on the Excelsior soap is superior to both of them, and I would put it in the elite category. So the face feel of it is excellent. There we go. So yeah, it definitely is for me the better all-around soap of the three. Shift this back. It is the better of the three on an all-around scale. I think depending on the if I'm using a safety razor, the Glissant and the Excelsior would be the soap bases of choice. However, if I'm using a straight razor, not that you cannot use the Glissant base, because you most definitely can, but the slickness of both the Reserve and the Excelsior line are much more suited to someone using a straight razor than, say, a safety razor. However, the lack of cushion on the Reserve line is, I had much more irritation after using the Reserve line with the Game Changer 0.68 than I did with the right here with a straight razor in the Excelsior line. The Excelsior line gave me better protection than the Glissant, gave me better, not quite as good slickness as the Reserve, better post shave for both of them. Residual slickness, the Glissant was good, Reserve was excellent, and I would say excellent for the Excelsior base. Excellent, maybe elite level. I'm not going to go ahead and do a full score comparison between the three. Face feel, the Excelsior had the best face feel of the three, and it is a medium mid-structure lather, mid to low structure lather, whereas the Glissant is a full mid-structure lather. It's not a high structure, and the Wave, the Reserve line rather, is a low structure, is a true low structure lather, and that's reflected in the cushion scores for the most part. But yeah, hope this was helpful. I'm going to go ahead, finish my post shave, and we'll wrap this up. See you in a second, guys. All right, guys, had a really nice shave. Barrister Mann's Vespers and their Excelsior base really did treat me well, as did the big old Jerry Stark 7/8 Smiling French Point, extra hollow ground, or full bellied hollow. But had an exceptional shave today, and yeah, so like I said before I broke away, in my opinion, the Excelsior is what Will of Barrister Mann intended it to be, which is a combination of the best qualities of both his Reserve and his Glissant line. All three of which are, the Glissant line, the Reserve line, they're and of course the Excelsior line, they're all exceptional soaps. They're very, very good. You can't really go wrong with any of them. But the Excelsior, he really did do a good job combining the properties of the other two soap bases. It's not quite as slick as the Reserve line, and I actually thought it was a little more cushiony than the Glissant line, which kind of surprised me. I wasn't expecting that, but that was my experience, is that it does have more cushion and protection than the Glissant line. Best residual slickness out of them is going to be your Reserve line, however. Post-shave, the Excelsior far outpaces them. I would put it near elite level, if not elite level, post-shave. It's approaching your Ariana and Evans and your Icarus base from Declaration. So, all in all, a great mix, a great comparison. I had a fun time doing this and really getting into the nitty-gritty and seeing what the differences were between the lathers. So, hope this was helpful to you guys. And I plan on doing this doing these more often. I was planning on doing a review today. However, the mail system out here has been really slow. We've been getting some really, really crappy weather. So everything is backed up by at least 1 to 2 weeks. So hopefully my mail starts coming in again, and I'll be able to do some reviews here coming up shortly. Until then, though, next video is going to be on Tuesday, and we'll probably do another one of these. I'm not sure which artisan we'll use. We might use Declaration Grooming, or possibly CBL soap. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Whatever I'm feeling like tomorrow. So have a good rest of the weekend, guys. And until the next video, I'm Dagwoodz. Totally forgot. Barrister Mann can be found at barristermann.com, as well as West Coast Shaving. They just that is their exclusive retailer. Although you will be able to find some Barrister Mann at Italian Barber, Magrid Razors, and Gromatorium.com. But any new releases are going to be solely through West Coast Shaving. If you haven't checked out the Shaving Cadre, stop on by www.theshavingcadre.com, guys. I'd love to see you there. And until the next video, guys, on Tuesday, you guys take care, and I'll see you later. Peace.